Hello everyone, and welcome to Straight Chilling. Each week we watch and review a horror film for your entertainment. You can send all questions and comments to straightchillingpodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to keep chilling.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing. 5 cold villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star ratings from the floor to the ceiling. If you get your 1 star, no time for feelings. Got a team of DJ, all the 1s and 2s. By the name of someone, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over 2. And prepare to hear the legend of the Straight Chillin' crew.
What up, nerds, and welcome to another very confusing episode of Straight Chilling. My name is Bob, and I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode number 206, recorded Sunday, March 17th, 2019, also known as St. Patrick's Day. Drinking the green beer. Tonight we're going to be talking about Tales from the Crypt Demon Night, as was chosen by our lovely Patreon member, Vincent C. Thank you, Vincent.
Oh, jeez. Oh,
Thank
what's
you.
wrong?
Oh, no.
What's wrong?
Oh, jeez.
What happened?
What happened, Randy?
What did you do?
Watch the wrong movie?
I watched the wrong movie, guys.
What?
Did you watch Us a week early?
No, I watched Birdemic, the movie that's like the birds but terrible.
Oh, okay.
But better.
So we're going to talk about Birdemic.
What movie did you actually
no
watch?
Billy Zane in this one. Oh, no.
Randy watched the wrong movie. Womp, womp, womp.
Bordello of Blood. Oh, no. I'm going to kind of keep it a secret what I actually watched this week instead of this movie. We're going to keep it quiet.
I don't know if it's gonna work out that well, but we'll get to the bottom of it before too long.
Okay, babe.
Babe. Before we get into the review, let me introduce everyone else on the show this week. First up, sipping out of a tiki mug, Randy Gandy G. Landy.
What's up? Happy St. Patrick's Day. Aloha.
It's so appropriate.
Yeah, what's in that mug? What are you drinking?
This right here is fruity juices and vodka. I did not have any sort of mixers for my bourbon, so it looks like going to be shots later instead. So
Straight out of the bottle.
Straight out of the bottle. You know me.
Of course. Up next, calling in from Southern Korea, where they actually still celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Soju.
What up? It's your boy. Green stains? I don't know. Some St. Patrick's
Green
Day shit.
grass
Diarrhea
stains?
stains?
No. Green stains is like Greensleeve's fucked up cousin on St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
So I'm fresh off of 2 days worth of Jameson, green beer, and Guinness. So, woo! Throwing up for the O'Toole clan.
Feeling good, feeling great.
Yeah, it's also
Soju stains.
6:30 a.m. now, the following Monday.
Next up, calling in from my dining room table, making his triumphant return to the cast, the old bitch.
What up,
Chatty
guys?
Cathy's
What
back.
up?
We got Ozzy in the house here.
Man with wood.
I forgot about that. I'm the little
Carol
boy.
from HR
also.
is back,
Yep.
guys.
What's
She's
going
got
on,
a butt
everybody?
stain.
How's everyone doing?
Better now that you're here, sir.
Ooh.
So much better.
Good to see you, guy. Good to see you.
It's good to be back. It feels like a nice, warm sock
Oh, stop
filled with room temperature milk and bacon bits.
Damn.
Oh,
Whoa.
Jesus. That's a very specific,
Very
horrifying
comfortable. Very comfortable.
thing.
All right.
Warm milk and bacon bits?
Cooter of the week
Not
is
sure how I feel
Cesar.
about all that.
Man, I'm going for the mall today, boys.
Last but not least, we got all the time zones covered on the show today, every single one. We're bringing the whole cast back from episode 150, in which we reviewed Bordello of Blood and Randy reviewed Demon Night. We're reversing it this evening. We got Shane calling in from Australia. What's up, Shane? How you doing?
Hey guys, I'm good. So happy to be back, and I watched the right movie. And yesterday was my St. Patrick's
Show
Day.
off.
Plenty of beers, but yeah, I don't think I could eat whatever Cesar just said. It's about 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah, are the
I think he was talking about fucking it, not eating
Are the
it.
bacon bits in?
Yeah, they're in the sock and everything.
I don't think you want to do either
I was
one.
actually talking about nestling in it like a sleeping bag, guys.
Okay.
You said
Yeah.
sock and
Yeah.
warm.
I'm a tiny little boy who fits inside. Never mind.
Okay. We're just going deeper and deeper into a realm we don't want to be in. Oh, Jesus
Underground.
Christ.
I totally read that the wrong way.
It was probably the right way. It was probably the right way.
There's no right way. There really isn't. Genuinely.
Well, thanks for coming back to the show, Shane, and lending us some credence, as you are the only legitimate film critic ever to be
Absolutely.
featured on this show. It's always a pleasure to have you on, man, and talk to you.
Much appreciated to be asked back, mate. I'm a big fan, but being part of the family is also extra special.
Yeah, Shang the Mang. Woo! Let's get it.
Just coining terms all over the place today.
Shang the Man. I am
Never
a
heard
fan of
one
that.
before.
Damn.
You added a G to both words. I just don't. I can't with this.
G squared.
Shang the Mang.
Anyways, let's get into some housekeeping real quick. The April poll pick is posted on our Patreon website. If you support us on Patreon at the $5 level or above, you can vote on a movie we're going to talk about this coming April. The theme of the poll pick for April is movies that fooled us, and the three movies that are up there for you to vote between are The Boy, American Psycho, and Saw. Make sure you cast your vote before the end of March, and let us know what movie we're going to be talking about. So far, American Psycho is in the lead. It's looking good for American
How those
Psycho.
numbers looking, Bob?
There's still quite a few people that need to vote, so it really could go any which way. But right now, American Psycho for sure is in the lead.
Cool.
We also have a new supporter on Patreon that we need to give a quick shout out to. Big thanks to Gary Lugosi for supporting us on Patreon.
Man, we have a lot of thematically appropriate Patreon names.
We really do.
King.
Stephen King,
Yeah,
Vincent,
Stephen King. Damn.
Gary Lugosi.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we got all the big names. All the big names.
Thanks, Gary.
Appreciate
Gary,
it.
right?
Yeah,
Just need to get my boy Dick Bibbs on there, and we'll have the whole collection.
Dick
Old Dick
Bibbs.
He'll be here.
coming in hot. We're also, as of today, we're going to be reopening the $10 level on Patreon, which allows you to pick a movie for us to review. So we only provide 5 spots per quarter. So this is going to be for the months of April, May, and June of 2019. It's first come, first serve kind of thing. So the first 5 people
We've
that
already
sign up.
I've already got people proclaiming their intentions of taking one of those 5 spots, Bob.
Yeah.
They gotta hit the refresh button.
Yeah,
They do. It's like this is more intense than a fucking eBay war. All right, y'all got to be on top of your shit. Get your Patreon picks
Like
in.
fucking
Do it.
Ticketmaster over here now.
They're not that bad. That's a bad rap. Don't put that
Yeah,
on
I
us.
don't want to be
Don't put that
associated with
curse on us.
Ticketmaster, even jokingly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah,
All
so
right, man.
if you want to pick a movie for us to talk about, much like Vincent C. did this evening, hit us up on Patreon and take advantage of that before the 5 spots are gone. Juice, you want to talk about some YouTube and Twitching?
Sure.
Thanks.
Out of out of respect, we had to cancel the Twitch this St. Patty's Day. You know, everybody getting their drink on. That's something we need to recognize. So Twitch was canceled this week, but there's only a little bit left playing through Limbo this month. It's our horror game of the month for Twitch, so you could check that out. Even though Limbo is canceled for this week, I still got some new playthroughs up from still going through some of the Resident Evil 2 remake. So if you're interested in the Claire playthrough, you could check that out. The main playthrough we did in February was Leon's, and still got some DLC to go through. They're not on the YouTube yet. They'll be up there soon, but you could check them out on Twitch right now. And Bob's Blu-rays, what you got, Bob? You got it. Come on, it's been a hot minute now.
Yeah, that's true. I've been slacking a little bit. I'll try and get one before next weekend comes around.
You got that sweet 4K steel box Demon Knight kick in, or what's
Steel Demon Night Box.
I don't own
You-
Demon Knight.
Yeah,
You own
and
the
next,
Tesseract version?
and next And next week is a movie review too, like from the theater. So no go on the Bob's Blu-rays that week. So
no, I'll cook something up. I will, for sure.
Cool.
God. I'm also going to Spooky next weekend in Orlando, so maybe I'll just film people against their will.
Live. Yeah, get some live streaming going on for that, Bob.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
On location. So yeah, check us on YouTube. Still got the behind the scenes. We still got the Twitch streams. We still got some old school Bob's Blu-rays on there. We got plenty of stuff for you to check out.
I'm gonna put out a quick call. If anybody knows how to modify a Switch to be streamed via Twitch, I'm trying to figure that out. I only have a MacBook and a Twitch and a Switch, and they just announced that Resident Evil 1, 0, and 4 are going to be re-released on the Switch. So I would like to get in on this if we could. I just got to figure out if I can switch it or not. If not, then it's up to you guys. It's up to Juicy, but that's all.
We'll
I just want to if anybody knows more than me, please help me out. I've been trying for like a week.
Dude, so many times just in like the gaming realm, so many of our Twitch followers have like helped me out. Like, hey, dude, you need to go over here. Or like, I'll just
you
like
really
keep dying. So I'm sure somebody's going to hop in there and give you some hope.
Cool.
Well, I hope so. Anybody has any tips and tricks, no magazine pun intended, I would happily accept.
Randy's clanking that tiki glass around with
Is
reckless
that coming
abandon.
in real loud?
It's really funny.
Sorry, everybody. I have to drink my medicine.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, I think that's all for the housekeeping. Let's go ahead and talk about what we've been watching this week, gentlemen.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Oh, Randy, what have you been watching?
I've been watching a few things, and like most of it has been good this week. It's been a good week for me watching and viewing new things.
Prove it.
I got to finish Russian Doll. Has anybody else finished it or watched it at all?
I've seen it. Yep.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
It is great. I want to say it's pretty much unapologetically. I think it's fucking great. It's one of my favorite things to come out this year so far. And it's got that perfect slow build sort of situation that I really enjoy, and that, sort of like I've mentioned it on the podcast before. That's why I bring that up, because I only watched a couple episodes and I was like, okay, it's intriguing enough. But by the end of the season, it's like it proves that there are points to every strand they have going in that series. Like they really have really good command of the narrative and what they're displaying on screen and what they're not. It's fucking great, and I didn't think that you could really improve on the formula of relive the day over and over again that Groundhog's Day really perfected in my mind. But they added something new to this, without spoiling it, that really sort of changed the game for me, and I thought it was fucking great. I really did. Natasha Lyonne just absolutely is like so much fun to watch. Yeah, Shane, did you feel the same way, or?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to give any spoilers, but Natasha Lyonne is just on fire, and the story grabbed me as well because it went places I wasn't expecting, and I'm thinking, where is it going to go next? But then it goes there. So, good choice, that one.
Yeah, I was pretty pleased with that. And it's what's shocking to me is that I haven't seen a lot of buzz around this show since like the first week it was out. Like people aren't really talking about it. I went on YouTube to see if people had like hot takes on it, and there really aren't a lot. Most people either really like it and are just gushing like I am, or they're not talking about it. So I just want to get more eyes on that shit. I think it deserves it. Aside from that, I also watched Leaving Neverland and the accompanying document or whatever, the Oprah special that came with it, which was extremely hard to watch, extremely disturbing on a lot of levels, and sort of confronting a question that a lot of people have had for a long time. And wherever you fall on the divide of it, personally, I'm like, it was pretty convincing stuff to me. But regardless, like some terrible things have happened to the people. And I don't know if anybody, I guess I should say this documentary is about the Michael Jackson scandal with young boys. And, there are a couple of men now who are saying that they were abused by him as young boys, but they didn't recognize it as abuse because they were children. And it's just just purely taken as a case study of what could happen, even if you don't believe it, because apparently there's still holdouts on that, and I don't want to turn them away, but just what could happen to somebody who is that thing they were abused at that age. I think it's a very important piece of work. It's very, very important. I think that they really nail this idea of, abuse isn't just, punching somebody in the face or saying, do this or I'll hurt you. It's a coercion. It enters this manipulation field that people don't really immediately think of when they think of people abusing other people in this way. So I think it's really important work, and I think it's great. So both of those are great to me, and I'm going to go ahead and pass the torch now.
Cool. Juice, what you been watching?
I finished up that Umbrella Academy. And I got to say that I went into that show. I mentioned it briefly last week when I had started it. I was like, I don't know, a couple episodes in. And I went into that show with a little bit of a bias. Like, oh, my God, like another show based on another comic book about some more superheroes that are in a family that's all torn up. There's a lot of cliches going on in this show. But I will say that I finished it, and it actually turned out pretty solid. I actually thought the story itself and the way it was adapted, and they brought in some really solid actors. The characters were really interesting, and I liked how it played out. The style, they did that thing. I'm getting a little tired of it, but where it's music has to be infused to everything. There's this shootout scene. We have to throw in an old school, really popular song. And that's getting tiring a little bit. But other than that, I actually, I got to give it its props, because I was kind of going in with a bit of that bias. But it turned out really solid. I found myself wanting to just be I really want to watch the next episode. I really want to watch the next episode. So I was able to burn through it. It's I don't know, 10 or 11 full hour episodes total, and I went through it in about a week. So I ended up towards the end there, I really kind of caught my attention, so I finished that up. And what else? I think that's probably about it. I had just a wild St. Patrick's Day weekend, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to to watch a whole lot of things. Just some Irish. It's crazy because I'm in Korea, and so I was at this Irish pub, and there was this band of 10 to 12 people, and half of them were Irish looking fucks, and half of them were Korean. And they were just getting down. Some of them had the penny whistles, and some of the accordions were kicking, and the damn fiddles were kicking. And I mean, it was cool though. They were getting down. I've got some video, man. I'll throw them up on the Instagram or whatever. But yeah, it was a good St. Patrick's Day weekend. One up for the O'Toole clan. I did a Guinness, a green beer, and a Jameson shot back to back for the O'Toole clan.
A green beer? What? No specification on that.
No, it literally just comes.
It's a Bud Light.
Give me the green beer, and it comes out in the tap green. So
it's a Bud Light.
BL Limes.
Fermented food coloring.
Cool. Shane, what you been watching, man?
Well, like Justin, I watched The Umbrella Academy, but I finished it probably all in one hit about 2 weeks ago. And I agree. I knew about the book because it comes from graphic novel about 10 years ago or something that was released. I hadn't read it, but I knew about it because of My Chemical Romance too, being a fan. And, yeah, it was pretty good. And I'm very selective when it comes to TV because I have to review and watch so many movies for work. I only watch certain shows like True Detective and Umbrella Academy and Russian Doll, things that pique my interest. So, yeah, I agree. I thought it was worth watching and it was pretty good. And I'm not a big superhero fan. I've seen Captain Marvel, of course, a couple of times now. I didn't mind it. You know, it's low-key, not one of the better Marvel films, but I'm not a superhero nut anyway, but it's okay. Greta, I think Bob talked about Greta last week on the episode. I liked it, probably a little bit more than you, Bob, but it could have just gone that bit further, and it seems to hold back. But for a stalker movie and for what the concept was, the acting especially was pretty good. But it just could have gone that little touch further. Doesn't go there. What else? A really cool movie called The Hamiltons. I'm not sure when it was made, maybe the late 2000s. It's about two teenagers whose parents have died and they live alone now, but just suburban house. But they have this real dark secret and shit goes on in their house. So that's all I'll say. It's called The Hamiltons. Don't let anyone spoil it. Heathers, the original film, is turning 30.
Nice.
So it's its 30th anniversary, and I'm presenting a screening of it at my local cinema soon. So I'll watch that again.
Ooh.
Yeah. I've been doing that a bit lately because there's so many cool movies having their 25th or 30th anniversary. And finally, Dead Calm. I revisited that. The Nicole Kidman, Sam Neill, Australian movie.
Billy Zane.
Hard to find. Yeah, and Billy Zane, who we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
It's a really good. I remember seeing it on the big screen for the first time in CinemaScope. It blew everyone away in Australia, and then of course became a big hit around the world. And Dead Calm, it was good movie to watch again. And
I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
Royalty.
Oh
yeah.
That's
it's basically
George Miller.
George Miller from Mad Max, and Philip Noyce. He's the director. George Miller was the producer. It's Sam Neill's married to Nicole Kidman. They're on a yacht, a vacation, because their child has died recently in the middle of the ocean. And then they come across Billy Zane, who's just floating.
As you do.
He had to abandon the ship. So they take him on board, but then it just creates chaos. So
it's a hitchhiker movie in the ocean.
Okay.
In the ocean, yeah. That's interesting.
Good. It is. It actually, that's the best way to describe it. Is interesting. You're like, I'm compelled to watch this.
Yeah,
just to see.
It's intriguing.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised I see movies you guys haven't seen. You're on point.
Sometimes.
Shane.
Shang the Mang. What you talking?
Oh
boy, you are too kind.
But I was having a few beers in an Irish pub in Sydney yesterday. No green beer though. But it was funny. The Irish band was playing, and all the bogans were hanging around the dance floor. And I stood back and just had a drink and shook my head at them. But it was fun.
That's the best.
The old bogan.
The dancing
bogans. The bogan revolution.
Dude, Camp Bogan, that's got to be a new thing.
Camp Bogan Creek, let's go.
Camp Bogan Creek.
I'll buy that T-shirt.
I'll make that horror movie. Let's start a GoFundMe. We'll make the Bogan Creek movie.
We got a brand now.
For those unaware, Bogan is Australian for cooter. Camp Cooter Creek, essentially, is what we're talking about.
Yeah. If this is your first episode and you don't know what a cooter is, then you got some work to put in.
Episode 200 will help you out.
True. We'll get more into it later this evening as well. Cesar, what you been watching, man?
Not too much. I have been playing a lot of South Park: The Stick of Truth. I'm a little behind on that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
But then I got Fractured Butthole. And my
Have you
wife,
started that?
Not yet, but Sarah is really disappointed in me.
That you're playing it?
Oh, she's like, I didn't know you liked South Park that much. And I was like, well, because I never had cable when we were going out, and now that we have Hulu, it's on like Donkey Kong. And she's like, yeah, I guess. So I stopped. So I had to take a little quick break. I did watch a little bit of Umbrella Academy, and I had read the graphic novel ahead of time. It's that you were saying, Justin, that there's got to be a hit song, a top 40 song, every cool scene in the show. And I'm looking at it like, you guys are not Forrest Gump. There is one Forrest Gump, and you, sir, Umbrella Academy, are not it. Because that's pretty much I think that's the best movie that did that, when you didn't really catch it, or maybe most people did catch it. But it's not the same. I've been watching The Orville a lot. I'm a huge Star Trek fan.
That's that McFarlane thing, right?
Yeah. It's surprisingly more Star Trek than Star Trek Discovery, which is weird to say. Yeah,
it's weird to hear because I don't know what that means.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll just get in my locker then. Okay, don't choke me with your Letterman jacket.
Damn nerd.
Okay.
Randy
I can't believe
Jock.
can't believe
Jock
Sarah's
Randy.
more upset about South Park than this.
She's
I'm a
actually,
jock overnight. I don't know if you guys.
she's actually been watching The Orville with me. Like, she really likes it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think. Oh, Doom Patrol. I know it costs a little bit for that DC app, and unless you are a huge comic book enthusiast regarding DC, it ain't worth it. But Doom Patrol is probably the best original programming they have on there. It is really good. Cast is solid. Alan Tudyk is one of the villains on the show, and it is
That's awesome.
he is great. He's just fun to watch.
So good.
He's a good actor.
He is great. He and Brendan Fraser are also on the show together.
Brendan's in that shit.
Holy
Yes.
shit, Brendan Fraser.
Guys, I highly recommend Doom Patrol. It is going to scratch that itch of a superhero show that's not trying to be a superhero show. Like, it's pretty good. Like, there's like this trend where either everything is trying to be Marvel or everything is trying to be Alan Moore's Watchmen, where it's like, we're superheroes.
That's true.
It's all,
Yeah.
there's no in between. Like, it's
Zack
like,
Snyder's Watchmen.
yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. Postmodern superheroes. Everybody's flawed. Or there are no flaws. Ding! There's Doom Patrol is just kind of like, yeah, we're really messed up and we're not trying to, we're just weird characters. Like, this is the comic book that X-Men came out to compete with. So, like, there's a dude in a wheelchair and there's weird costumed individuals, but like, you could see, like, oh man, like, yeah, Marvel definitely totally not ripped it off, but tried to compete. It's good. I recommend it.
Doom Patrol.
Yes.
I had a question, but as I was listening to you,
gone.
I lost it. So
I'm
It's
sorry.
gone.
Yeah, we were
the
too.
drinking's catching up to
It's
me.
in the bottom of your tiki mug.
Just don't beat me up.
Whatever.
So you
nerd.
were saying Brendan Fraser was in it. How is he? Is he good?
He is great. He plays kind of like a piece of shit NASCAR driver who's like really famous, and he gets into a horrible accident, and the only thing that's left is his brain, and they stick it inside of a robot body.
Yeah.
What? That sounds really funny. Actually, I
It
do.
is-
I do enjoy what you're.
It's freaking great. It's so much fun. Oh,
Is
Timothy.
is he voice acting primarily, or is he?
I
in
think
it
he's
that
actually in the suit. And Timothy Dalton plays the main guy who's kind of like the Professor X of the team. It's so much fun.
Nice. Very nice.
I hope old Brendan Fraser gets a little comeback. That dude was killing it back in the day, and he
Yeah,
just
I
kind of
agree.
fell off.
Yeah.
He had
think
the,
he
he had
got
the
kind of a
good
weird
mummy and
shake.
everything.
The good,
the good
mummy. I'll still give that to Tom Cruise. The good one. I got through that Leaving Neverland documentary as well, Randy. That shit's hard to get through, man.
It's serious stuff, man. It really is.
It's pretty overwhelming and like just very damning. I was sort of, as far as like the Michael Jackson thing, like, did he do these horrible things or did he not? I didn't know, but like after watching this series, this like 4-hour documentary, it's like there's not really much of a question in my mind. Anyways, these guys are like very convincing, and like the level of detail provided is like disturbing to say
Do
the
you
least.
think that's a little risky, though? I'm a little worried about our culture and that kind of standpoint and the way that documentaries seem to like really guide things these days. But it's
Yeah, I see what
haven't
you're
seen
saying.
it. I haven't seen it.
It's,
but
I mean, yes
like-
and no. You got to make your own decisions, and to me,
Yeah.
like just on a 1-to-1 basis, they're pretty fucking convincing guys. They're like, the things that they're saying are things that some of it is confirmed by police reports. Some of it's like things that they're saying are both. There is some hard evidence, but the stuff that there isn't, they are telling an excruciating and perpendicular detail.
Yeah, there's
that it's
so
really
much
hard to ignore.
overlap in their two stories, and they didn't really like know each other. But there's like what they're saying is essentially the same thing. It just seems like there's this sort of like like a pattern that was
like a consistency
put in place potentially for like multiple children, and he just, I don't know. It's worth watching if you can stomach that kind of thing, I guess.
Even setting aside like whether or not you want to make a judgment call on one of the world's most popular people that ever lived in the last 20 years or whatever, like setting that aside and setting aside the judgment call, it's pretty powerful stuff purely on a look how people can get manipulated basis.
Yeah.
Like it's like most true crime that is worth watching. It's a cautionary tale about who you put your faith in and how people can turn innocuous acts into heinous acts of the worst kind. And it's not even like, I don't know. I don't want to discount the people that have doubts because like as far as hard evidence, there's only whether you're convinced or whether you're not at this point.
Yeah.
But for my money, I'm pretty convinced. And setting that aside, even it's a testimony of another kind. It's like cooter hunting. It's mind hunting for sexual predators. It is.
They stole my job.
They stole your job.
There's this one scene. I think it's in the second half of the documentary where one of the guys pulls out this little jewelry box filled with these rings that Michael Jackson bought him, and they're like, you know, they were purchased when this guy was a child, so they don't fit him now. They're like child-size rings, but they're like diamond studded, like, you know, gold, like obviously expensive jewelry.
I mean, Mike bought one of their families a house after he testified in his defense.
Right.
So
yeah.
Take from that what you will.
It's just, there's a lot of pretty damning evidence, and obviously the man's not alive.
It's
anymore,
a lot of emotions wrapped up in it, as far as fans go. But
you're ignorant.
Yeah, I don't know what good it does currently, but it is. If nothing else, it's sort of like, you know, a warning. Like, be more aware.
Yeah.
I guess.
Like, absolute bottom rung of it is nobody disagrees that this is a man that chose to sleep in a bed with a bunch of children. Probably not a good idea. Like even if you just leave it there, probably not a.
That's the only thing.
Yeah,
you get
I mean,
it,
if that's all you take, at least that's something. Nobody disagrees that was a bad idea.
Yeah. I also blasted through True Detective season 3 this weekend. I admittedly I couldn't get through the second season. I got maybe halfway into it and just gave up. But
You and me both.
I completed the third season, and I actually think it's a bit of an improvement on the first season as far as like the story as a whole. Like Matthew McConaughey's character in that first season, like they can make a million seasons of this show, and I feel like that character is always going to be the most interesting character they write. But as far as like the overall story arc, I think the third season does a better job at sticking the landing than the first season does. They kind of, you know, the whole like the time is a flat circle thing is like sort of just told to you in the first season. I feel like in the third season they really just show it. They like really kind of put it on the screen for you in an interesting way. I think it's definitely worth watching. Anyways, so that's what I've been watching. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get into the main event and talk about Demon Knight.
Bordello of Blood.
Ooh, guys, nice.
Demon Knight of Blood. Oh, let's talk about Demon Knight. Start off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Cesar.
Feels good.
Bring us in for a landing, baby.
All right, let's see if I can do this one.
Hello, kiddies. Your old pal, the Crypt Keeper here. Our next tale deals with Frank Baker, a guardian of an ancient key that can unlock tremendous evil. The sinister but charming collector is a demon who wants the key so he can initiate the apocalypse. Speaking of the apocalypse, your old pal, the Crypt Keeper's been going on a 90s heartthrob binge. Old Billy Zane's not the first one in my spectacular. Anyway, creep out of trouble. I'll be watching.
God, it's like It's like watching fucking a pinnacle Robin Williams do his shit. I love this.
Man,
This is
too kind, too
Right.
kind.
Quick, turn your elbow into a vagina. Go. Go.
wait, what?
Good
What
job.
the fuck?
That's the only thing
was
I
that
remember from Robin Williams' HBO stand-up is his arm is so hairy, he pretends
I
it's a
don't know
vagina, and he like eats it out. Anyway, it's
I
weird.
don't remember
Nobody,
that bit.
nobody
I did
knows.
not
It's crazy. He's also so sweaty. He's so
specific
sweaty.
bit to reference. I love that.
You're
no,
alone in your
I-
principles, Bob.
I usually am. Anyway, it's
Shit.
worth watching. It's worth watching.
Oh man.
I was lucky enough to interview Robin Williams once, but luckily he had long sleeves on.
He could resist
Holy-
eating out his own arm crevice.
Thank God.
It's the only way
As
he
if
can
it were a
resist.
vagina. Good
That's
lord.
so cool.
Anyways,
I don't know how I'd handle that. Be like,
Yeah.
well, Robin.
What do you
he's-
want to talk about?
he's on the
I will do
stage.
anything.
He can do whatever he wants. He's Robin fucking Williams. Come on.
Robin did whatever he wanted. Well, whatever. We're not going there.
Everything about
Love
this is
Robin.
great.
It is. So we're talking about Demon Knight, courtesy of Vincent C. Thanks again, Vincent, for supporting us on Patreon. This is a movie that obviously Randy had seen before. I don't know if any of the rest of us have, but let's go around the table real quick and just talk about whether or not we were familiar with the movie, and if we recommend people check it out. Randy, you don't have a say. I'll start with Justin. Justin, what do you think?
I had never seen this movie, and in fact, even though we've talked about it a ton, I always just assumed it was like Demon Night, like it's nighttime outside, and so I was even surprised that it was like
Medieval
Decay
Night.
Night. Yeah. So no, I actually, and even I went back and listened to the Bordello of Blood episode, and I had mentioned at that point, I feel like I had seen scenes from Bordello of Blood growing up, as it was on like HBO and stuff like that. None of like Demon Knight even like stood out to me. Like, oh, maybe I've seen this, or maybe I've seen clips of this. So it was all completely fresh and new to me. So
I don't want to blow your mind, buddy, but there's a movie called The Dark Knight, and guess what? There's a gay in that shit too.
Oh
What?
shit! You're blowing my mind, Randy.
Yeah, man.
Randy's sipping DMT out of that tiki mug.
Oh shit.
Hey Shane, how you feeling about Demon Knight, man? You recommend? Oh, Juice, you didn't recommend or not, did you?
Oh, I would recommend.
Okay,
I had a blast with it. I thought it was fun as shit.
cool. Shane, how you feeling?
I saw it when it was released in the cinemas down under, like I pretty much saw everything as a kid. And I don't know if I liked it as that much back then, but revisiting it, I watched it probably a couple of years ago, and then I saw it again on Blu-ray for the first time because I bought a copy for our episode today. And yeah, I agree. It was a blast. It was a lot better than I expected. I cranked up the sound. It was a lot of fun, and some funny one-liners in it too. And Dick Miller too, who's unfortunately just passed away. So yeah, it's got a lot going for it. I liked it, and yeah, I would recommend it.
Pour one out for Dick. Cesar, what about you, man?
Oh yeah, I grew up with this movie, man. It was the movie I would go to like my friend's house because I wasn't allowed to watch it at my house, and his dad was a piece of shit, so he was just like. He's never around.
Awesome.
He's one of those kids.
All right.
He was like,
lucky you,
dude. This kid was like Corey Feldman's character in The Goonies. Like you never saw his parents.
Yeah.
Like he was that guy. So I'm like,
He
I'm
never
going to
said
this dude's
die.
house. Yes. He's taken them all back.
Gotcha.
But I saw this movie a long time ago, and I've been watching it forever. I own it. Soundtrack's freaking great. I don't know if we're gonna get into that a little bit later, but I definitely recommend this movie. It's anytime comedy and horror are mixed together, and especially if they're referencing a comic book, I am on board.
Gotcha. It's a blend of all the shit you love.
It is everything I love.
It's in your fucking DNA, son.
Ooh, yeah.
This is the second time I watched this movie. I actually enjoyed it this time around much more than the first time, just because I think the first time I watched it, I wasn't expecting it to be quite so tongue-in-cheek, because when I was a kid, watching Tales from the Crypt on HBO just legitimately terrified me.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So that's obviously not the case when you're an adult. It's super cheesy. So yeah, it's fun if you just kind of like turn your brain off and let it wash over you. Billy Zane is great.
Yes.
I guess I use that word kind of loosely.
Oh no, he's wonderful.
He's fun to watch at least. So yeah, I give it like a light recommend. Randy, what do you think about Bordello of Blood?
This is the shining gem in the Dennis Miller oeuvre.
I
Dennis
agree.
Miller bringing it back.
He is so on top of it in a way that he is not in reality. It's great. Corey Feldman, my God. He starts out with this George Michael look. It's pretty fabulous. And then he ends up with this fucking Evil Ed look at the end. What's not to like about Bordello of Blood? It's the greatest.
Here, here.
If I remember correctly, we gave Corey Feldman the Cooter of the Week back in the day, Randy. Do you agree with that assessment?
I don't know when you were talking about, but yeah.
For that movie, for Bordello specifically.
Yeah, I don't know. We've never reviewed that, so I don't know I don't know how you come to that conclusion. I'll be honest. Like the Cooter question came up to my mind multiple times because I want to say that probably I want to put it in the 70 percentile of Cooters are represented in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Or rather, 70% of the cast are representable as Cooter, including Dennis Miller, who just straight up catcalls a woman into working and into paying him to be his private, her private detective. But I can go into that more when we start reviewing Bordello of Blood a little
Randy,
more. Randy, for the first
I feel like he saw a different movie.
It feels that way a little bit.
It only feels that way. It's
I'm not hearing it.
Yeah.
Everybody experiences Bordello of Blood in a different way. So, like, if your heart's in a different place, man, I'm not going to tell you Bordello is not for you, man.
Oh, thanks,
just
bud.
About my Bordello of Blood experience, not yours. This is mine.
Right. You know what? And I would hate to try and cheapen or take away your experience, man. You're right.
You know, that's really kind of you to say. I appreciate that.
I like this podcast for that reason, you know?
I feel like Vincent...
We all think different things about Bordello of Blood and all be right. It's great.
Vincent, in a way, gave you like the opportunity to atone for your sins here, Randy, to like make up for having watched the incorrect movie last time on episode 150. He's giving you a shot to make good on it here.
I can't imagine what you're talking about.
I actually feel bad for Randy this time around because last time we all like watched the shitty one and Randy watched the good one, and now we all get to enjoy the good one and Randy's alone in his shitty movie.
And you guys really hated Bordello of Blood.
Whoa. Pump the brakes. Not all of us. Not all of us.
I mean, God, we haven't heard the ratings for Bordello of Blood yet, but I'm expecting them to be kind of low overall.
Anyway,
hey, Randy, I've got to ask: do you like Dennis Miller? I didn't get those jokes.
Oh no! I want to make it clear. All right, like kayfabe off.
Thank you.
Let's be real. Dennis Miller can suck every bag of dicks in the country, as far as I'm concerned.
There's more than one.
He's terrible in person. In his person, I was already biased against him. I already don't like him. So, like in fairness, I don't like the man. But everything I say positive about him is absolutely the opposite of what I'm thinking.
All right.
And
I just didn't get his humor.
Fabon.
Yeah, just to be very clear, on episode 150, Randy just watched the wrong damn Tales from the Crypt movie. So now we're all watching.
Complete accident.
He's watching the one that we watched on episode 150 and vice versa. That's the premise of the show. So let's get in to the actual review here and talk about Demon Knight for the most part, but then also a little bit of Bordello of Blood. I'm going to drop the spoiler warning and we'll get into it.
Spoiler warning.
Here we go.
Dude, the opening shot of this movie like had me sold. I was like, they're doing that car chase or whatever, and it's got I don't even know the name of that song. Cesar, what the Hey Man, Nice Shot or whatever.
Filter.
Yeah, it had that song kicking, and fucking Billy Zane's got his like cowboy hat on, and he's like chasing him, and like from that, like it was the opening scene. I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's go."
You skipped the Crypt Keeper setup before the like real movie starts.
My bad. Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Which is an immediate half star by your scale. Because
of course,
in proper like Tales from the Crypt fashion, there's just nudity and gore off the bat.
I completely forgot about that. Actually,
but there's also humor with John Larroquette.
Very true.
Who would have seen?
Awesome.
Who would have seen a William Sadler cameo come up? That's crazy.
And a Whoopi Goldberg cameo, Randy. What do you think about
in
that?
the same movie? I'm so glad we're on the same page on that.
Nice.
Oh man. So yeah, Crypt Keeper, fucking great way to start any movie. Per usual. And then
how did they do that back in the day? Because it looks like a little wonky. It's like kind of got like this claymation kind of look. Yeah. But is that what it was?
Stop motion photography mixed with like blue screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
No
green screen.
That sounds plausible.
Yeah, they didn't even have green screen back then.
Couldn't afford it. Had to go with the blue.
Man, they were stuck with blue. What a bunch of idiots.
Green hadn't been invented yet.
You know what I like is when we explain the jokes.
St. Patty's Day was a crap affair.
Me too. It makes them so much more enjoyable.
I'd say a lot of the budget for this movie would have gone to the practical special effects because they were pretty effective. Bordello of Blood had some pretty good effects, but this one sort of stepped it up, I thought.
Yeah,
Did you know that they use glow sticks for the eyes? Did anybody know that?
No.
I was going to say, I think that Demon Knight has the luxury of being more approachable than Bordello of Blood. Like, it seems like they made Demon Knight for everybody, and that they made Bordello of Blood for like hipster vamp,
Vince Miller.
Like, I mean, you say that, but it's almost fitting that they cast him because he was kind of like the hipster sort of like, hey, babe, if you don't get these vampire jokes, I don't know what to tell you, babe. Okay.
Yeah, like it was for reference humor dorks at the time.
Right. Like it was like they cast, Chris Sarandon, and everybody's like, remember him from Fright Night?
Right.
It's like, but like Demon Knight's kind of like, oh, we got a crazy cast of people. And Shane, you were talking about Dick Miller being in it, like it's got something for everybody. Like if you were, even if you were a nerd back in the day and you remember Dick Miller from like Twilight Zone episodes, you could like watch this movie and it's an anthology show like Twilight Zone was. You can kind of get into it, but I don't know. I think that's the biggest difference, and that's why I think it, as Justin put it, it's the good one.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
She's good.
Yeah.
She's pretty good.
Actually, she is good.
She nails it, in my opinion. Yeah. But why are we talking about this?
She's not in this movie. So, yeah, Billy Zane going absolutely apeshit, chewing the scenery in this movie. I think one of my favorite. There's a lot of really great like one-liners in this movie actually, but the first part where like they kind of out him and he jumps through the window and he spills his like green ass blood on the ground and creates the demons or whatever, and he just like throws on this wonky like southern accent and
motherfucker.
Exactly. Pow down. Yeah, just like goes ape shit. I love it.
That is, I was about to mention, like, for real, that is also my favorite Billy Zane scene. He goes total ham.
He does. It's incredible. There's like a couple beats in this movie where like they just give you a ton of shit and then there's like 10 or 15 minutes of nothing and then they give you a ton of shit. It like feels kind of uneven as far as the pacing is concerned, but when it's banging on all cylinders and everybody's chewing scenery and there's demons and just like crazy quips flying, it's great.
Like you would expect a movie like this to be very, very exposition-y in a obvious hackneyed sort of way, but this is the one movie I remember watching where it was like they showed more than they told. Like you're just getting little clips of William Sadler's life,
Yeah.
You don't really know what the hell he is or why he's there till like.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that whole backstory.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. I was surprised that it wasn't like, I'm a demon knight, and every century I have to fill this thing with more than Jesus blood, so that way I can keep the demons away before the stars align. Then he looks at the camera. Everybody got that? Like, no, it was like they just showed Jesus on a cross and a demon and some guy shaking hands, and you're like, what the hell is happening right now?
They do have a quick,
it's like Any Given Day on Wall Street.
They have an info dump like towards the end where they talk about 7 keys and like one of them landed on Earth and all that stuff. But yeah, it's not like it's not everything. It's just like kind of enough to get you where you need to be.
They don't tell you anything about him. Like they just tell you like, okay, here's what you need to know to survive.
Yeah, that whole like Jesus flashback when it first happens, it's like, wait a minute,
what the hell?
It's almost like the movie
That's way more high concept. That's way more high concept than you expect this movie to be, right?
Than you expect Bordello of Blood to be.
Like that 90s style too, I immediately just think of like Nirvana or whatever. I think of that Nirvana music video. I'm like, holy shit, this is the 90s right here. It's just got that look.
It's funny you mentioned that because everybody on this soundtrack wouldn't be like all of my friends that didn't like Nirvana loved this soundtrack when we were in high school. And it was because you had the Gravediggers on it, like freaking the RZA's like Misfits wannabe rap band, where like it was just horrorcore but like hip hop, and it was freaking awesome. And then you get like Megadeth with Diadems. I was like, holy shit! like it's like pretty legit. The only kind of butt rocky song that's really on there, I'd say 2. One of them is the song that Ministry did, and the other one is the Hey Man, Nice Shot.
Yeah.
But, hey, what are you going to do? It's the 90s.
It's the 90s.
You got to have some on there.
You got to Pinkett. You got Pinkett on the payroll. You got to do something.
Oh, is her band on this soundtrack?
No, God. Wicked Wisdom? Ugh, disgusting.
I know she had a band.
It's not good.
I have to listen to it now.
They are fucking terrible. I am ashamed that she says her band is a metal band. Fucking annoys
Rob,
me.
Rob, you did know she was in a metal band. We discussed it last episode.
Oh, deleted. Sorry.
What?
Well,
do you guys remember Silverchair?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're awesome. They appeared on a few soundtracks. This is a good soundtrack. I just want to agree. I don't know a lot of the songs though, but they're good. And it fits for the film.
For sure.
And as for Jada's band, I love Jada. She's hot and she kicks ass in this, but I'll give her music a miss.
Yeah.
To put it politely, a miss.
Yeah, I don't want to be rude.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible.
I mean, I'm really not into Anthrax, so the Bordello soundtrack just does not really. It's just not for me.
So why?
It never gets old, Randy.
It better not, because I got another hour of this shit.
And that tiki cup reminds me of Brady Bunch. I think they got it in that.
Oh, nice.
It's equally bad luck.
Reference YouTube. See Randy's tiki mug.
Man, we should sell tickets to this one.
Slamming it.
On sale now at straightchillingpodcast.com.
.69.gov.
.gov. It's a federally funded.
.com.69.
It is. Got that government payroll. So, like, both of these movies are sort of centered around brothels for some reason. That seems to be like a common thread. And I know they were going to make a third movie, but I guess they canceled it because
they made it.
This is probably something you also told me about last time, and then I also forgot. Ritual
came out. It was almost
brothel.
No.
Okay.
It's almost like a remake of from the first season where they started playing around with the voodoo zombie stuff.
Oh, okay.
But it's god awful. It's not good. Like it's like Tales from the Crypt, but it's written in really small letters. like Tales from the Crypt presents Ritual. Like,
sorry. What was that?
What'd you say? Yeah, it's not good.
Noted.
Yeah.
So Billy Zane punches through a cop's head and says "heads up," and that's fucking great.
It's good.
He's also got some sweet dance moves. Damn, Billy Zane.
Billy Zane in this movie reminds me very much of, and I don't know the actor's name, but
It's Don't Lie, Paxson.
the Randall Flagg in The Stand, where he's just like sort of like this party dude who's hanging out and wanting to reap your souls and shit. Like
Party,
you know what I'm talking
dude.
about? It's like
Of course. Of course.
Who among us has seen The Stand, the '90s Stand, for better or for worse?
I have not.
I
the
own
Randall
it.
Flagg in that
Yes.
is like, hey, what's going on? I'm here to, fucking work on your Trans Am and reap your souls.
Right. Right.
I legit was thinking of like Bill Paxton. What's that vampire movie he's in?
Near
Okay,
dark.
It
Near
just goes
Dark.
off the rails. Yeah.
Dark. That's a great movie.
Near Dark.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. So that's, I don't know. That was kept like flashing my mind a little bit too. Another kind of 90s like weird classic or whatever.
Bill's
But yeah.
wearing denim. That's what I learned.
Except Billy Zane like takes it to like 11, man. His like, sometimes you're like, where is he coming from, or what is the inspiration for what he's doing right now? Because he is all over the board sometimes in this.
A lot of cocaine.
I always thought that if they ever did like a Superman movie in like the 2000s, like Billy Zane could have been Lex Luthor just because of this movie. Like,
Yeah.
and the way they were drawing him in like the cartoons, like Lex Luthor kind of looked a little Mediterranean, like had the olive skin,
Actually,
and
yeah,
sort of
his-
like big lips sort of thing.
His
Like Billy
animated
Zane.
series appearance looks like Billy Zane a lot.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he kind of sounds like him a little bit.
Yes, yeah. Like I was like, man, like Billy Zane's cool. Has he always been bald? Oh no, he had hair in Twin Peaks and in The Phantom. And then I'm like, oh no, he had a wig. Oh,
Oh, say so.
John Justice Wheeler has hair. I don't believe you.
I'm watching those again, by the way, man.
Billy Zane, Billy Zane had hair in Titanic, and that was like a couple of years after this.
Shit.
Yeah,
So, yeah, and The Phantom was filmed in Australia. I just thought I'd add that in.
oh man,
There you go.
that's awesome.
That's,
I love
a,
Billy-
that's
I
the
love
one with
Billy
the
Zane.
purple. He's in a purple suit, right? And he like
Yes.
shoots
Yeah.
the gun and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Holy shit. I haven't
Yeah,
seen
that
that.
was
movie.
made up in Queensland, and obviously they expected it to be a huge success and make a franchise out of it, but it's never happened.
Nope.
I think Billy Zane in this has just been allowed to go off script. I mean, he's got partial script, and then he's been allowed to just do his thing, and it works.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis Miller went off script a lot and it really vexed some of the other people involved. Like, they didn't know how to
Like
respond to him
Feldman?
because he's so. Yeah, Feldman was like, "What are you talking about, Dennis Miller? What are you talking about?" And Dennis Miller was like, "Babe, I died at birthday." And everybody was like, "Okay, it's Dennis. What are we gonna do? He's the hottest new comic in America."
They
It's
had
the
a lot of
90s.
tension on set. I heard that Feldman and
Oh,
Dennis
my
Miller
God,
just did
yeah,
not
he's-
get along.
Feldman, who is not a singer, but a sweetheart of a man, and he said he was very
Randy
rude
coming in
and
like-
disrespectful.
Half the time, which makes you just like ridiculous banter.
You're
even better.
freezing up.
I think he's
He's
frozen.
I think. So. Oh, there he is.
No, I think he's just being really still.
Randy?
Oh.
He's back. He's back.
Look, Bordello of blood. Bordello blood.
Oh man, he's got Cesar hereditary
Dennis Miller.
syndrome.
Yeah. Nope. Maybe. I don't know.
Dude, Billy Zane has a cool little freak out moment when he like sheds his hillbilly look or whatever, or I think he refers to it as his hillbilly look. I love that little freak out.
When he goes like full demon at the end? Is that what you're talking about?
No, like just when he pours the blood on the ground, like to
Oh, yeah.
make the demons, he like just like freaks the fuck out for a second.
Yep,
Yeah.
he does. And he,
And one of the best things is that he's confident too. His character, he's sort of more or less in control, even though he might not have what he's after. He's in control, and I love his acting in this.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
yeah, it's basically like a cat and mouse game. Like he's trying to get back into the brothel, and he possesses people like one at a time and uses their bodies to kill one another. And he kind of like tries to give them, like, tempts them with whatever they want.
Can we talk about Thomas Hayden Church?
We talk about literally anything.
In this movie, he is a perfectly polished asshole.
Like, would you eat?
Dude, Cooter of the Week.
Dude, he's a piece of shit. Like a terrible human.
Yes.
They set him up real well at the beginning, too. He like bursts into
dog.
the broth.
Oh, he kicks the dog so hard. Like, you want him dead. Like, you're like, ugh, yuck.
He gets, gets his nipples electrocuted. Yeah. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, he's into it.
Whoa,
man.
guys. I mean, look.
We've all been there.
I'm not saying anything about that. Am I right?
I mean, that's perfectly understandable.
Yeah.
That's how I start my day.
You know, just,
I mean, man's in a brothel. What you gonna do, you know?
Warm cup of room temperature milk with bacon bits in it and some nipple twisting.
Are we back on that?
Hey!
Oh, here we go.
Randy.
Welcome back.
Rattling Randy.
Shaking the cage.
Look, I just want to say
nothing.
The anus kill was the worst. I decided to include that. But there's just a big old tongue in the anus kill, and nobody for it. Just want to say
You're still breaking up pretty bad.
I wasn't
man.
sure anus kill. I want to make sure that's what I heard.
Is Randy breaking up, or did I hear the word anus?
No.
Yeah, I heard
both. Both have occurred.
It's like the rectum sanctum up in here.
Yep.
Rectum, darn near. Fuck it up. I shit the bed.
I mean, you guys are definitely more professional this year than you were last year.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? That can't be true.
Feel like it's just falling apart.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Clarification.
In the nicest possible way.
You son of a bitch.
It's another miss, says Shane. So, I don't know. You want to talk about Cooter of the Week? We started talking about Roach. I'm going to drop it. Let's talk about Cooter of the Week.
Cooter of the Week.
So, I mean, Roach is my vote. Hardcore.
I mean, Bordello of Blood, it was hard to pin down because Randy's right. There were so, like, it's a very, very high count. For this one, I mean, I feel like Roach is, like, the specified Cooter. Like, he kicks the dog. He starts off, he's getting his nipples batteried up in the brothel. I mean, he fucks everyone to save himself and then ends up dying anyways. Yeah. I mean, there's like, I mean, you could say like, oh, maybe like Billy Zane and stuff like that. But as far as the like wanting him to die or like being like so excited when he finally gets his like comeuppance, I mean, he fits the Cooter profile like to a T. I mean, that's like what it is. He's like designed for that role. And like it's hard to come up with one that like competes realistically with his Cooter.
That was kind of his bread and butter. Like in the 90s, like being a Cooter was how he made his money. Like he was on that show. He's got that Ned and Stacy.
Yeah.
He does. He asks Cordelia. Well, like he hits Cordelia and like threatens her life later in the movie, and it's pretty shitty. But like when he first gets into the brothel before he gets his nipples shocked, he asks if she's wearing edible panties, and then as they're like kind of walking off into the distance, it's hard to hear him say it, but he says like, "Oh, they are edible panties, good, because I want pieces of edible panties in my salad later." It's just like, what the fuck?
Fruit roll up in your salad.
Yep.
Dude's definitely hitting that sexual deviancy off the scale. Cesar's right, man. He's got that it's easy to cast this dude as a Cooter. He's got like the greasy blonde hair, and he's just got the look for it, man. He just got that Cooter look. It's like he's greasy and like
he's got the fishnet tank top on.
Clothes he's wearing too.
Yeah. He just like he hits. He tries to manipulate that one guy. He's like, "Oh, you're my friend," or whatever. He's definitely got some smug arrogance. Yeah, he like hits a woman. He hits a dog. He fucks everyone over. So he's a huge piece of shit. So yeah, man. And then when he dies, you're like, "Fuck God!" Like, thank you. You know. So yeah, I could definitely Roach like for my vote, Cooter of the Week for sure.
Yeah, I double down.
Yeah, he's a bogan.
Bogan of the week.
Through Camp Bogan.
Definite.
Established 1969.
I want to point something out about this movie. Actually, I think the connection's better now, so I'm going to go for it. Since we've gone on this tangent about Demon Knight, I don't know why. So Jada Pinkett's climax in this movie is her spitting the blood of Christ into the face of a demon.
Randy. Thank you.
I want to make sure that we all recognize that the nun can eat my asshole, because they did that exact same fucking thing, and they did not they ripped this movie off. They did.
Dude, thank you for bringing that up, because as soon as I saw that, I was like, holy
I thought about that when I watched The Nun, and I don't know if I brought it up on the podcast or not, but
think
if I
you
did. I meant to, because this fucking movie originated that idea, and it works so much better in this movie because the characters are more likable.
Yeah.
It came out 25 years before The Nun or whatever.
Yeah. There's no original ideas under the sun, but if you're The Nun, your shitty ideas are even your best ideas are ideas that you've stolen. So
The Nun is bad because the context is wrong. Because the whole point of The Nun is that, some things are sacred, so this should work, but in Tales from the Crypt, nothing is sacred. For God's sakes, they drink the blood of Christ and spit it in someone's face. They use holy water and super soakers in the next movie. That's the whole point. And then The Nun, it's
yes, we'll use the blood of Christ to take this evil nun down. Valak the Destroyer. Yeah.
I just feel I know this isn't the world's biggest movie, Demon Knight, but I think The Nun needs to be held to task.
Oh, sure. It was popular when it came out, man.
Stolen.
Yeah.
It was a big deal.
I don't usually go that route because, like I said, there's no original ideas under the sun, but this is such a specific idea at a specific point in the movie where your specific power dynamic is playing out. Whether or not, the only question is whether or not you like the characters and whether or not the world building is adaptive, like Cesar says, to what they're displaying as their climax. And The Nun had fucking... Okay, I don't want to go into them.
It was garbage.
I'm already in a tangent. I'm not going to go into tangents of tangents.
I'm glad that you brought it up because I thought I'd seen it somewhere before, but I couldn't figure out where. And I think that's because when I watched The Nun and reviewed it and everything, I just sort of forgot about it afterwards. But yeah, that's what it was.
Well, I had seen it. Right. I had seen it within the last year because we on this podcast all reviewed Demon Knight last year.
Yeah, we all on this podcast reviewed that movie. That was Cesar's pick everything, his sacred pick.
Yep.
That we all honored.
That's right.
Yep.
It was very nice of you.
I want to make sure that you get credit. You picked Demon Knight, and that was the right choice out of the Tales of the Crypt movies. If you had chosen Portello, can you imagine how stupid that would have been?
Imagine my embarrassment.
Oh, boy. Oh, how embarrassing for you. Oh.
Good thing that never happened. Are we selling it? Is this working?
I don't think the joke has landed yet. You got to keep pushing it.
Okay.
We got to ask Vincent.
That's how it's
no joke.
Yeah, that's how comedy works. Commit till no one's laughing.
Yep.
There's a trick.
Hammering it home.
If you continue past the point of unfunny, it gets funny again, buddy. You just got to come with me up the bell curve.
Oh, for sure. Will Forte is proof of that.
True.
That's a great point. That's a really great point.
Yes, I love Will Forte for that reason.
But Gruber is fucking great, and I don't care what anybody says, but whatever.
It is
I've
great.
never seen it.
Who do you want me to fuck?
Hey, do you guys think that Tales of the Crypt will ever come back and is a new series? Because I know that they're doing Twilight Zone. That's coming out. Jordan Peele's going to be doing that, but do you think anyone might be interested in doing another series of Tales from the Crypt and maybe making another movie?
Shyamalan was trying to a year ago.
Shyamalan's going to. And then Glass happened.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of rights issues.
Trust Shyamalan to do anything.
Yeah, Shyamalan's last shred of dignity might be gone.
Well, this isn't even his style. He's not a campy kind of guy.
We've never seen a movie of his where he played it primarily for laughs and horror as a set piece.
The Visit was kind of that.
I don't think that was a comedic movie.
But the thing
I don't think that was all that comedic of a movie.
Yeah, the Visit didn't seem comedic to me. I didn't mind it.
It wasn't.
No, I like that movie too. But
but it wasn't exploitive. That's the thing. Tales from the Crypt is very, very exploitive for sure.
There's not one Dutch angle in The Visit. That's all I'm saying.
Nice. I want 60s Batman level Dutch tilts in my fucking Tales from the Crypt.
Seriously, like the fucking Tales from the Crypt movies, I thought that the camera was going to literally flip the fuck upside down at some points. It's like, like
that was like their go-to move a lot.
It is, and for the better in my opinion. But once you start getting Shyamalan involved, that's just not going to read the same. It's going to be Avatar. Or Tales from the Crypt fans.
You need comedians, man. Like I
agree.
Say what you will about Dennis Miller, but the idea to make a comedian like the lead, and not even a lead, but like he's supposed to be the lead romance, like the guy that's right. Like it's like, okay, maybe they didn't stick the landing, but it's A for effort, guys, and throw some gross shit in there and make me laugh for at least a few
Danny
seconds.
McBride is primed for this role.
Seriously.
He did.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Danny McBride, if they announce Danny McBride is doing a Tales from the Crypt series, I would be like, okay. I better go.
Man.
I think he should, but I mean, who knows if he's interested or if that's his jam or not.
Even with Bon Me-gate, you'd be down?
The sort of like pushing the envelope sort of comedy mixed with classic horror tropes and visuals, like classic. Like that's something I think he could handle, or somebody in that vein anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's it.
Yeah, that's the thing. That style of comedy that
give me that Bon Me.
I'm with Justin on that one.
First supporter.
That was
Congrats.
a damn West Side Story fight.
Damn it. Damn it.
we got the Jets versus the Halloweens or whatever.
Well, you can appropriate.
All right.
Should we go and rate this thing? Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we do so?
I didn't. Okay, go ahead.
He didn't rate. Yeah, he wasn't. Actually, we didn't allow him to rate last time.
That's true.
So I guess he gets like a double rate now.
Ooh.
I don't
Can I
know.
get a double dip? Can your boy get a double dip?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get you that double scoop.
I like that.
We'll get you that double scoop.
Do it.
All right.
Juice,
All right.
why don't you kick us off, and then we'll come back to Randy. Out of five, how you feel about Demonite?
Yeah, man. I feel a lot better. But was watching it for the first time, so there's like no nostalgia to it other than just like shit looks 90s as fuck, and it's got the 90s actors. But Ali Zane was fun to watch. The effects were cool. Got a solid cooter in there. It's like so underappreciated, I think, like to have somebody to like root against comedy in it and just everything. So I like this movie.
And their tits are just out. So if that's your criteria, boy,
there are more tits in the Dick Miller fantasy scene than there were in Bordello of Blood.
Probably.
Think about that.
Yeah.
I don't rightly recollect that movie. Was
Has he seen that Dick Miller fantasy?
It is. Yeah. He's getting tempted by Billy Zane.
How they got away with it. I mean, and he's having fun. It's not like they're digital girls in
Dick Miller
my mom really loves your work, Mr. Miller.
Yeah, Mike
breasts.
Too soon.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. So I think I'm going to give this movie a baseline 3 with a plus half star for the Yabos, taking it to that 3.5.
Ooh.
3.5 from the Juice. All right. Shane, how you feeling out of 5?
Again, this time than I did when I previously saw it. I love how it ended, but for a movie, I recommend it. I liked it. It was good to revisit, and I'll never watch again.
Yeah.
This I will.
And where he's like, it's like, all right, where to? And he's like, nah, I'll wait for the next one. You know, and he's
a really
whistling
good moment.
the Tales from the Crypt themes. I loved it.
Nice. Randy.
Hey!
I guess try and rate this movie based on your recollection of watching it a year ago.
Okay. I think that really has a major impact on my viewing of Bordello of Blood. So I did, however, think that Feldman did a great job. I really enjoyed watching Feldman do his shit. Like I thought he was crazy and goofy, but like I don't know if maybe the bar's lowered for me for what adult Feldman's capable of, but I think he was fun as fuck to watch. So yeah, between like those two things were kind of like big things in my brain that were going on when I was watching this movie. And then I don't know, like the plot itself was pretty thin. I did kind of enjoy like the ballroom blitz scene where they're shooting everybody with holy water. It's goofy as fuck, but I don't know. I kind of gotten some enjoyment out of it, sort of some baseline enjoyment. I just think it's pretty like thin overall. I don't understand why this was chosen to be the Tales from the Crypt second movie. I don't know. It just like I think it's too thin to be. I mean, I guess because they wanted to include so many goddamn breasts. That's all I can think, and they couldn't justify it on HBO in the early '90s. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. But for me, it's very expected. It's very like overly quippy because of Dennis Miller. It's very like silly in a way that's not really enjoyable, and I kind of lose track of it a little bit. I wasn't engaged enough to really keep track of everything that was going on even. So put that on me if you want, but for my money, my experience watching this movie was about a 2-star experience. So moving on to, since you guys didn't let me vote on Demon Knight last time when we reviewed Demon Knight last year, Demon Knight is a pretty fun movie. I agree with everybody's take on that it was like Billy Zane is fun to watch as a villain. I enjoyed watching him ham it up. And like, I think that this movie, like it better accounted for Tales from the Crypt style in terms of taking like classic horror set pieces with sort of modern injections here and there. Having Jada Pinkett was a great idea for the lead, I thought, and pretty like.
Oh, Randy. Oh, you're back.
Sorry, I think he just hit his mic.
Sorry, am I back?
You turned it off. Yeah, Randy.
Okay. So like the Jada Pinkett, like even at that time, like there weren't that many black heroes in horror movies in the early '90s. I thought that was pretty bold and pretty great that she was able to take that mantle as sort of a final girl, but not really because it's not that much of a slasher. But whatever. I think that it was a lot of fun, and I think that all the characters were pretty fleshed out as opposed to Bordello of Blood, where they were all kind of like half cocked. So like in direct comparison, I have to say I don't think that it was like the best movie of all time, but I do think that it was fun and it fulfilled the promise of a Tales from the Crypt movie, which the other did not to me. So I would give it a 3.5. I would give Demon Knight a 3.5.
All right.
Cool. I'm going to come in with a 2.5 on Demon Knight, which is definitely the movie we reviewed today.
Plus a half star for the Yabos, right, Rob?
No, that's your system, not my system.
Okay. I just want to clarify.
I appreciate that. I don't know. This movie overall was fairly enjoyable. Like the comedy lands most of the time. Sometimes it's actually a little too hammy for me. It kind of goes a little too far.
How dare you, sir?
I know,
too hammy for Bob. What the fuck, dude? Who picked that shitty summer camp movie? What are you talking about?
Sleepaway Camp,
no.
sir.
No, I was talking about that other one where the dude burns alive. Whatever.
The Burning.
Yeah. Anyways.
More hot takes.
Hotcakes. I love hotcakes.
More hotcakes? Bring them my way.
Yeah, and I already mentioned like the pacing of this movie is a little off for me. Like there's certain like moments where it seems like the momentum of the movie just comes to a screeching halt. Like right immediately after the demons first arrive and like they kind of get locked out of the brothel. There's just like 15 minutes of just like nothing. There's like some dialogue. And then that's it. They're just kind of like moving around this one location, which I think also hurts the movie a little bit. The fact that they're all sort of locked in this one building for like the entirety of the movie. It just feels like a little stale, like maybe halfway through. And like notably like at the 30-minute mark and like somewhere around or just before the 90-minute mark, it just seems like it just comes to like a screeching halt almost. But, when Billy Zane's hamming it up, it's obviously very fun to watch him do what he does and drop the one-liners and whatnot. But overall, it just sort of like doesn't appeal to my taste specifically. But 2.5, and that's going to put the aggregate at a 3.4, which is definitely favorable to Bordello of Blood, which
That's 1.75 is what you guys gave it. With my addition to that is a 1.9.
Damn.
So
yeah. So Juice.
I think that seems almost like an extreme difference to me, but like I don't know. To my mind, I was hovering between a 3 and a 3.5 for Demon Knight.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like it should be like a 1 to 1.5 point differential, but it's more than that.
Yeah. Yeah. Juice gave it a 2. Randy gave it a 2. Cesar 2.5. Shane a 1. I gave it a 1.5. And then the aggregate would be a 1.9, I guess now. So yeah, Shane like swore off it, never to be viewed again.
Never again.
I like
That's it. I couldn't do it, and I feel sorry for you, Randy. Actually watching it.
Look, man, we all had to watch it today.
I'm going to watch it again.
as soon as you get on.
Out of spite, Cesar's going to
Watch
Oh,
it.
no, I like it.
The haters.
but mostly out of spite.
Blocking out the haters.
Angie Everhart. She's fantastic. So that's probably where my 1 came from.
Yes.
There
Yes.
you go.
Angie Everhart.
Let's go ahead and get into the Rotten Tomatoes segment and see what the critters and users have to say about Demon Knight.
Certified fresh to death.
Take it away, Juice.
Let's hop in here. So, starting with the critics, unfortunately, there is no critic consensus, which is a bummer. Rotten Tomatoes still looks like doo-doo brown with our new remake, but we have 32 critic reviews counted for Demon Knight. What year did this come out? 1995. So, did Bordello of Blood, did they come out the same year or a year apart?
It's 95 and 96, I think.
95 and 96. Okay, so Demon Knight came out in 95. So, let's go around the table. Let's see if we can guess the critic score first. Last time Shane nailed this on the dot. Let's see if he's as lucky this time.
Pressure.
Let's see. Let's start with Randy. Randy, kick us off. 32 critic reviews counted. What do you think they gave Demon Knight?
Demon Knight.
Here we go.
Here we go. Last
this-
time you guessed for Bordello of Blood, Randy, you got to vote for Demon Knight this time.
Okay, I mean, since you impromptu brought up a different movie, I guess I'll say for Demon Knight, I don't know, like a 69 sounds about right.
Oh, there it is.
Straight
Got it.
chillin'.
That's the comedy number.
You beat me to it.
All right. Shane, what do you think?
Look, I've never been a fan of Rotten Tomatoes. They're so inaccurate. I would say around 30, let's say 32%.
32. All right. Old Bish.
Man, Randy for real did take, I was going to say 69. So now I'm like rethinking everything.
Go with the 69.69.
I'm about to Price is Right him one way or the other. I don't know how, though. I'm going to say
96.
No, that's the opposite of the Price is Right. I'm going to 68 him.
Ooh.
68, going one lower. All right. And Bob, finish us off. Bob.
Oh, I'm the closer. Let me get in there. Finish you right off. I'm going to go with a 45.
A 45. Okay. So, not on the dot like last time, but Shane is going to steal it away again. He voted, wait, what did you say? 32, right?
32.
Yep, 32. And you just narrowly stole it away from Bob because it's a 38. So a 6-point difference versus a 7-point difference. Quick maths. So Shane's stealing away. It is not certified fresh. It is not even regular fresh. It is rotten with a 38%. Let me scroll down Rotten Tomatoes and see what you got. Of the critic reviews counted, 12 are fresh, 20 are rotten out of our 32 critic reviews. So not so great.
That's not a huge sample size. I feel like that's not representative, really.
Well, yeah, let me, there's no critic consensus, but one of the top critics got this rated rotten, and it says, Pick is neither funny enough nor scary enough to be fully satisfying as either a shocker or a spoof. So that's one of the rotten top critics.
That guy could go straight to hell.
Yeah, there is one positive, but even though it's positive, it gives a rating of 3.5 or 3 out of 5. And this is a top critic that rated it fresh. Between scenes of splattering gore in which severed heads literally roll across the floor, the movie has a good time spoofing itself and a gallery of mostly sleazy characters who confronts a crew of bloodthirsty demons. So, it's like taste, I think.
Demon Knight is a movie for fans of fucking Dead Alive. Like this. Yeah, that's the level of polish we're talking about. It's goofy, it's knowingly silly, and it's making its own fucking way regardless. Everybody kind of sucks and everything is really stupid. But you get some crazy fucking spectacle in that shit.
Dead Alive is way better than Demon Knight.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying they're in the same category for me.
Yeah, they're in the same realm of enjoyment as far as what you're enjoying. Yeah.
Right. What you enjoy about this movie is the same things you enjoy about Dead Alive. Dead Alive is superior, undoubtedly, in my mind. But
and for the Australian audiences out there, Dead Alive is called Brain Dead.
Brain Dead.
Yeah, Brain Dead.
Think of it. I figured you could fill in the gaps.
I can never remember which one's which. Like I remember both, but I can't remember which one is designated where. So
right, yeah. More Sumatran rat monkeys. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. All right, let's hop into the audience score. We will work our way backwards this time. So, Oozer rating of 23,000 on this one. So decent for Tales from the Crypt movie from 1995 on Rotten Tomatoes. So, Bob, kick us off first. What do you think the 23,000 Oozers had to say about Demon Knight?
I'm gonna go sort of along the lines of Shane, and I'll give it a 38.
Okay, trying to copy the master, huh?
Yep.
See, Bob?
He knows what's up.
Trying to mimic the master. All right.
You come at the king, you best not miss.
All right. Well, old Bish, I got to say that feels good rolling off my tongue. It's been a while. So
not the first time I've heard that. I'm gonna
old Bish,
and always from fully grown men. Who look like anime characters. I'm gonna say. What did you say, Bob?
You said 38.
I'm gonna give it a 41.
Ooh.
41. All right. Shang the Mang, what you got, my guy?
I don't know if I'm going to get used to that, but you can keep saying it.
Don't worry, man. You never do.
Hammer
I
at
can assure
home.
you never get used to a Justin nickname.
I even feel weird saying, "Oh, Bish." I'd rather just say Caesar.
dude. For a while, I was little baby boy Caesar, nubile young boy Caesar for a while.
Also, Chatty Cathy. So
yeah,
nubile.
You got to rise through the ranks, apparently.
Let me think. I think this movie's sort of being rediscovered because, a lot of people might not have known it that well, and because it got re-released on DVD and Blu-ray, might get a bit of a higher score. So I would say around 50, 55 or 54%.
54. All right. And Randy, close us out, my guy.
I mean, I agree. I feel like the audience is definitely more forgiving for this movie because it's not really for the critics. This movie is clearly, like Demon Knight is clearly for audiences, not for critics, in my opinion. So I don't know. I think the safest option is probably 69. It's the comedy number.
Wait, is that going to be your vote?
No, yeah, that's fine. That's
okay. It is actually okay. And to my pleasant surprise, checkmate Randy with the 69. 64% is what the audience has rated this. So Randy is the closest by 5-point spread. So yeah,
Bordello blood, which we've never done before.
Nah, that was low all around. I don't think anybody really liked Bordello blood.
That makes sense.
User, straight chilling crew, nobody. So on this one, at least it's split. The audience digs digs Demon Knight. The critics are not as forgiving, but so yeah, we'll split. But that's it. 64% from the audience.
Cool.
That's great.
Randy, do you have some trivia for Bordello of Blood?
I sure do.
Let's do it.
It's totally time for trivia.
Take it away, dog.
So here's some Bordello of Blood trivia, since that's the movie we're reviewing. So according to Corey Feldman, Dennis Feldman, Dennis Miller, that's his middle name.
His dad.
Dennis Miller was rude and disrespectful to the cast and crew. According to Feldman, Miller once stole a van from the transportation department and left the set. Feldman and Miller got into a heated confrontation during filming. Heated.
You don't say. That's the first time I've heard this bit of trivia.
Dennis Miller stole a van. I just want to make sure that point is on record. Stole a van. Dennis Miller shot the movie at the same time as he was doing his HBO talk show, Dennis Miller Live. To accommodate Miller's schedule, the filmmakers were forced the crew to work weekends and have their weekend days off during the week, which caused tension between the crew and filmmakers, as well as tension between the crew and Dennis Miller. Dennis Miller sucks. I didn't
realize that Randy hated Dennis Miller so much.
I didn't realize it until I read this trivia. I'll be honest. Like I know I didn't like him that much, but this shit really set me off. I was like, fuck this guy. Okay. The key. This is interesting and not Dennis Miller related. The key used in this movie is the same one used in another movie you might remember called Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. We reviewed that last year. Do you guys remember that?
No.
Same key? The same key?
So wait, what key? What key was in Demon Knight?
The cross.
Okay, like
the blood
holds the blood.
Okay.
It was also in Demon Knight as well as Bordello of Blood.
Okay, it was shared between them. I don't remember it in Bordello of Blood.
And Bordello of Blood, it's what's his name? Fucking, I had it written down here. The little person who at the beginning who finds the mummy of the villain
Lilith.
woman. Lilith, yes, thank you.
Okay, I gotcha.
He controls her by way of this key, and the key is...
Okay, that's right, yeah.
And I don't know if that's supposed to be some sort... I kind of doubt it, because it was kind of pre any sort of like real crossover stuff happening in films, even within the same
franchise.
Banner, Tales from the Crypt franchise. But I would say that there's not really a connection beyond it being a reference. Also, Bordello of Blood was supposed to be a horror released on a horror themed weekend like Halloween or Friday the 13th, but Universal did not have enough movies slated to be released for the summer of 1996 and opted to release Bordello of Blood in August. So this was an August horror movie.
So I will say for the Demon Knight, it was purposefully released on Friday the 13th, Friday, January 13th.
Smart.
Because the Tales from the Crypt movies were originally to be tied with traditional horror weekends such as Friday the 13th or Halloween. I guess they just couldn't pull that off with the next release.
Justin, we covered this last year, buddy. How embarrassing for you. My gosh. Oh, boy. But if we want to talk about Demon Knight, we can talk about Demon Knight. I had some trivia for Demon Knight here in front of me. Did you guys know that birds had nested in the rafters of the set, which caused audio problems? So before each take, the crew would shoot off a blank gunshot to startle the quiet animals. And
you don't say.
I don't say. I said it last year.
So there was a birdemic on set.
There was a birdemic, which is what I guess where the confusion came from.
There you go. That's what we call a callback, kids.
I don't get it.
Oh, man. Demon Knight was a script that had been circulating Hollywood for a number of years. Although it was not adapted from EC Comics and lacked the standard morality play, the producers decided it was the right mixture of horror and humor to be produced into Tales from the Crypt spinoff movie. That's interesting that they kind of like set aside the morality issue. Both in this and Bordello, I would say. Like they've really sidelined that.
So, Old Bish, can you enlighten me? Is Demon Knight a Tales from the Crypt comic that was adapted, or are there Tales from the Crypt comic and it's adapted in the style of those?
Correct. It's the latter of the two you mentioned.
Okay.
It's an original story meant to kind of harken back to the EC Comic days, where it
Okay,
was Vault
okay.
of Horror, Tales from the Crypt, and you had your different hosts. You had the Crypt Keeper, you had the Old Witch, and then you also had the Vault Keeper.
Okay.
Yeah, and they got in trouble with the government back in the day when the government was like, it's all because of comic books that there's gang violence.
Trying to pin it on anything they could.
They
Video
really did.
games, comic books.
Yep. So
here's something interesting.
Thank you.
Does anybody know the show Brimstone, a 1998 television series?
Yep.
Okay,
So it was on
so
Fox.
Cesar. It's on Fox. Okay, I was not familiar with this, but here's a piece of trivia that I guess would be important primarily to you. So several concepts, such as the idea of shooting demons in the eyes in order to send them back to hell, was later used by these same writers for their television series Brimstone. Harken back. Did you watch that show, or are you just aware? of it?
Yeah, I did watch it. It was, it didn't last long. It was kind of like they wanted it to be edgy and dark, but it felt like the Quantum Leap version of Ghost Rider.
Okay.
Rough.
If that makes any sense. Like, it's like
Right.
X-Files is still scarier than this show, and Millennium is still scarier than this show. And they're not even talking about the devil, like it's like, try harder.
Do a better job.
Come on.
So,
There's not much more, but here's one thing. One of the protagonists, Wally Enfield, is a recently fired postal worker. I believe that's Charles Fleischer. Is that right? Cesar, I think you can.
Yep.
You're usually good with names. He's a fired postal worker. The remaining protagonists find a large collection of guns in his home, realizing that Enfield intended to attack the post office. This is likely a reference to several real-life spree killings perpetrated by maniac postal workers.
yeah,
I
that
remember
was like
hearing about
big
that
in
when
the
I was a kid.
90s, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess that was like a late 80s thing, maybe, that sort of like was a joke or something
God damn.
in the 90s, because I remember seeing that referenced in a few things. Rocco's Modern
Going-
Life weirdly comes to mind.
It's a saying, isn't it? Going postal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
going postal.
Oh, yeah,
Where that
yeah,
phrase
yeah.
comes from.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was a scene in Rocco's Modern Life episode where Rocco or somebody was on a crowded subway or bus, and there was this, like, it's very crowded, and this one guy standing there, he's wearing a postal worker's outfit, and he says, all these crowds seem to make me disgruntled. And then he runs away, and then he just starts swinging on the handrail.
Oh no.
It was great. I love that show.
Yeah, Shane, I got to tell you, if I try any kind of Australian accent, it will sound like Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life, and it will not be good. It will not be good. It will be ridiculously offensive.
Well, as I've said to you previously, if you give it a go sometime, I'd hugely appreciate it because you're a master of voices. You impress me.
See,
He wrote you a blank check.
Shane, you've made your sale, okay?
Dude, it sounds like somebody better pick fucking The Ritual to so that we can find a satisfying arc for our Cesar character, our old bitch, to conclude. And that's more or less the end of trivia. I will say one more piece, and that is this. In theory, either Bob or Irene could also have been the chosen one, had they survived. Irene was shown to turn down the collector's offer, and presumably Bob was also given the same choice. And the fact that he was not possessed would indicate that he turned it down as well. So some alternative potential endings there that obviously we're not taking advantage of. I guess you really can't be the chosen one if your fate is to be disemboweled by Billy Zane. Sorry, everyone.
Sorry, not
John
sorry.
Justice Wheeler's coming for you.
So we don't have any voicemails this week, so we're not going to be jumping into voicemails from a place I like to call the Further, aka Hotline Scream. But should you want to contact us and leave us a voicemail, you can do that at 904-638-3231. Let us know how much we suck.
We need a prompt. Which is better, Demonite or Bordello Blood?
Yeah, let us know your thoughts.
Yeah.
Or The Ritual, if you've seen that. Maybe that's the best one.
Yeah,
No.
tell us what
It's
you
not.
think.
It's Even in the trivia, Old Bish, it says like, "Oh, it was intended to be a trilogy." So is that not like recognized as part of it, or do you know?
I'm not kidding. It was like a straight to DVD. Like, it's so not associated, but if you know that it was going to be the third movie, you're like,
okay,
I see.
Oh, that sucks.
Like, if you just look up the word ritual and Tales from the Crypt, and you'll see, like, it's like, oh,
damn.
It's meant to be forgotten.
Right. It's like all the executive producers that made the show were like, let's back out.
That sucks. Tim Curry's in it. That's a shame.
I mean, I can't say I've ever heard of it until you brought it up, Cesar. Had no idea it even existed.
That's what I'm here for.
It's also from 2002. From what I'm
shit.
So it probably lacks that 90s charm.
Dude, it looks like a Sci-Fi Channel original piece of hog shit.
It probably had the budget of one too. Like it almost certainly was made just for the small subsection of fans that are like, we love both Demon Knight and Bordello of Blood, and we need the conclusion to our trilogy.
Yeah, you could say me. It's fine.
Okay, sorry. This movie is made for Cesar, and he's very happy with it. He loves
I was not happy with it. It made my penis shrivelly.
Oh, so it's like any other movie.
Yeah.
The old bish got the shrivel up dingle bingle.
There's not one Dennis Miller quip. I could not maintain an erection afterwards. It's terrible.
It's the only reason I watch the Dennis Miller quips.
It's Viagra, audible Viagra.
That's what it is.
Slip it on in there. Oh.
It makes my dick hard, babe. Okay, I've got that SNL money. Okay.
Oh my God. Hold on. I got to go to the bathroom.
Yo.
Make sure we can hear you pee and flush the toilet, right?
Please.
No, I was joking about Dennis Miller being an aphrodisiac, which he is not. But let's continue.
Yeah. No, that's pretty much it. No voicemails. We're gonna skip news this evening. Gentlemen, thank you for returning. Cesar, it's always a pleasure to have you on, dude.
Well, I'll make it more of a habit.
Ooh. Do it. Shane,
it's been a hot minute.
This too, back in the habit.
What was the last episode Old Bish was on?
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know offhand.
Was it Tremors?
Maybe.
Were you on Tremors?
I think
yeah,
I was.
He was on Tremor. He was on Tremors.
Yeah, I think that might be it, actually.
Oh,
boy.
It's been a hot minute.
Shane, thanks for joining us again, man. Like I said, it's always a pleasure having you on the show and making us slightly more legitimate than we need to be.
Yes.
And
Shane, what was your last episode? Do you remember?
No, I can't. I've been on about
Dawn of the Dead. We have Dawn and the Dead and Night of the Living Dead.
It probably was the double feature.
Extravaganza.
Yeah,
that was Halloween.
Yeah, last October.
Hey, I've always wanted to do Innocent Blood with you guys. I love that movie.
That's true. John Landis. Yeah, we need to do that. We do need to do that.
But thank you for having me, you guys. As I'll just repeat myself, I feel like I'm part of the Straight Chillin' family, and I would be part of your podcast at a drop of a hat. You crack me up. And by the end of the podcast where you were talking toilet humor, I knew that was where it was going. By the end. But it's so much fun. And horror movies are just good to talk about with you guys because I haven't got a lot of colleagues that I can actually talk to about horror. So thanks.
We're happy to mislead you.
Yeah.
And it's an open invitation. If you ever come down under, I will be your host in Sydney.
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to take that up at some point. I'm over here.
It does
I'm close
pay
enough.
to be a blowhard on the internet.
Let's jump on that private jet that we have, that Straight Chillin' jet, and fly on over real quick.
Tail number 666.
Yeah.
6669, I think. Is
that's a little accurate. It's way closer to the truth. Yes.
And I've kind of evolved because when I was on the Bordello of Blood podcast, I had no idea what a CUDA was, but now I know what they are. They're about
that was just this afternoon.
I can't believe you're still milking that joke.
The commitment is
Randy's
unreal.
riding it till the end.
You mean?
God. So, we're going to be back next week with a new show. We're going to be talking about Jordan Peele's latest, Us.
Ooh.
Yes.
Let's go.
It's been impossible to avoid the Rotten Tomatoes reviews on that because it's plastered everywhere.
Don't
But
say that shit.
Rob,
Don't say that shit. I have not seen
Yes.
all
it. I
right.
have successfully
say
avoided the impossible.
I won't
Everybody
say
else
it.
has avoided it, Rob. Everybody else.
To be
Not
honest,
impossible.
I'm gonna shut up just because I feel like Justin almost beat the shit out of you through
Oh
the
yeah,
phone.
he's gonna jump through the phone.
Holy shit!
You shut your mouth, Bob. Don't ruin my segment. All right.
It's already hard enough, Bob. Okay.
For
Oh,
Christ's
God.
sake, man, don't make Justin mad. He looks like the Unabomber already.
Looks like emo Unabomber.
Emo bomber.
Yeah.
The emo bomber.
Now he's a
Bombing with
Mega Man villain.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see if Jordan Peele can do it again next week. Until then, you can rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. You can follow us on Twitter at STR8_chilling. We're on Instagram at Straight Chilling Podcast. You can send us an email through our website, straightchillingpodcast.com. Again, if you want to leave us a voicemail, you can do that at 904-638-3231. And I think that does it. Again, gentlemen, thank you so much. It's fun. It's a pleasure, as always, having both of you on.
Likewise.
And we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.